Every single jump,
Every trophy won. I'm going to do the show standing up today.
every breakaway you make, every cross,
Val, I'm not sitting. I'm not in the mood.
every dunk,
Hey, well, I've not opened my story.
every pit stop,
I'm just joking. I'll stand up to start, then I'll sit down. Hey, whoa, where are we? Oh, locker room. Oh.
Welcome inside the locker room.
Inside the locker room. Mic's up. Today's live. Good morning, Lagos, and thank you very much for staying tuned here on Smooth 98.1. It's time for the Locker Room 981, and I'm Ayo Myro Essay.
I am Valentine.
With us in the studio, we have the one who does justice to football analysis and sports. Actually, you know what I think? That shows my ignorance when it comes to sports largely, but give it to her, whether it's hockey, ice hockey, whether it's
Cricket.
basketball, cricket, whether it be long jump, shot put.
Tega is there in
Yes.
the middle of it all.
F1, we have the one and only Tega Supreme.
And the one that was forgotten this morning. They did not buy me chicken pie. I must out you on air.
At 6 a.m.
Ayo.
They did.
I shall revenge.
Anyways.
Good morning, Lagos.
Uh-huh.
Hope you have a good Friday.
Yes.
Let Ayo collect her good morning from other people.
Well done.
Now, if you want to make her happy, you can send meat pie to her, since that is very
Only.
critical on a
Don't
Friday
send, though.
morning.
Don't
But
send.
you're welcome to the #1 sporting show on radio. So please sit back, relax, enjoy as we present to you some of the biggest sporting stories around the world. If you'd like to join the conversation this morning, please send your message to WhatsApp 080944400981.
Tweet at Smooth981FM. Use that hashtag LockerRoom981. And you know we're streaming live on YouTube. So please subscribe.
Okay, so our first story is about the Minister of Youth and Sports Department, Mr. Sunday Dare, who on Wednesday said that stadium maintenance for facilities with dilapidated infrastructure will require about 1.2 billion naira. This is even as he said that most of these stadiums don't belong to the federal government and that the ministry intends to seek funding to revive facilities in the stadium.
Okay, so here's the first thing. I don't know why. Ayo, carry up your hands while you're at it.
Close your eyes.
Close your eyes so that we'll know that we're punishing you. But let's go to this new minister. So this
Yes.
minister comes in, and like every other minister, every sports minister that's come in has had the tour of the stadium. Like they know before they come in. Like even Ayo knows that the stadium is in a sad state.
Yes, I can tell
Everybody
you
in the
that.
country knows. But these ministers come, and then they have this photo op session of them going around the stadium that we all know has problems. It's not like they come in and say, okay, we've now found 3 or 4 private consortiums to come and take charge of these stadiums. No, they come in and they do exactly the same thing. Call exactly the same print papers, call exactly the same TV stations, walk around this stadium in exactly the same manner, tell us the same problem. And after their tenure, we are back there again with the next minister getting ready for his tour. So this minister assumed the position and has gone round now and has come to tell us it will cost 1.2 billion for these stadiums. 1.2 billion from where? To do what?
First of all, let me
For
ask you,
what purpose?
how much was allocated in the budget 2019?
The last,
for sports?
I don't know about 2019, but last time I heard, I know for some consecutive years, we had 5 billion given to sports.
Okay.
Wait, sorry, we had 5 billion was going to be given to sports. Don't ask me anything about whether they
What
received it
happened?
or what happened. I wasn't there. They said 5 billion was going to be given to sports. Let's work on the assumption that it was 5 billion that was given again. You're going to use 1.2 for stadiums.
So that's
that-
about 1/5, 20%.
Think about it. Then you still have Olympics. You still have world championships. You still have coaches, ministerial staff. Let me not even calculate this stuff. At the end of the day, the reason why infrastructure works in some other country better than this country is that those infrastructure are privatized. At the end of the day, let me tell you what happens. If Tega owns the national stadium, I like the sound of that. Let's say Tega owns the national stadium.
Yeah.
Tega will look for events. Tega will market the national stadium
Yeah.
and get events to pay money to come and use the place. Why? Because Tega's money is invested in it. So
Absolutely.
that's Tega's business. So Tega has to make that money. But the federal government is not going to sit down and be doing all these things. So again, when they start saying we want to do infrastructure development in the country, you know how they say it in Mexico, and we don't want stadiums, we want beans. You know, 'cause that's what the people want. So at the end of the day, what is federal government going to pay attention to infrastructure that is lifeless, or to the people that are crying hunger? It's a lot to ask. I want to see what is going to. Not all the stadiums he looked at are owned by the federal government, but at the end of the day, the way it is, sports in the country is largely government funded,
Yeah.
which is the beginning of the problem.
Okay.
We'll talk about the end later.
You know this. Let's talk Formula One now. Sebastian Vettel has admitted he's not happy with his driving, but is confident he can turn his form around before the end of the season. The four-time world champion made the latest in a string of high-profile errors at the last race in Italy when he spun and then collided with another car while rejoining. Vettel said, and I quote, "I take it as what it is, and it's obviously not great, but also not a disaster. It's not the level I want to perform at, but these things can happen to all of us now and again. I do not think it's mental. It's not that I'm in the wrong place in my mind. I am doing the right things, which is why I think it's crucial not to overcomplicate things too much and pull through it."
What is he talking about? How can he say he's doing the right things and he's making these mistakes? Who is he talking to? People that are not watching.
us.
It is a disaster. Sebastian Vettel. In case I didn't tell you, in case they've not started deducting your money from your contract, it is a disaster. And consistently not being able to perform at some point in time, you know, when it looked like it was a Ferrari problem, reliability issue, he could get away with saying it is a collective issue. So we weren't so fast today, or we made some mistakes in strategy. But now, Charles Leclerc has won the last two races back to back. It was a hit. And you are struggling in the same car. So he has showed you up that this is not a question of the driver or of the constructor. It's a question of the driver that is sitting in it. And time again, you've shown how you've made errors when it comes to racing one-on-one with other drivers, how you make mistakes, how you sometimes panic, or how you sometimes miscalculate, and then you make those errors. And so don't tell me you're doing the right things. No, you're not, darling. You're doing many wrong things, and it is mental. So you need to sit down and address this issue you had maybe last weekend off to sort this out. This is Singapore now, another race, another chance, Grand Prix, another chance to say that, okay, I am still a four-time world champion. Stop making excuses for yourself. You didn't have to give this interview. Right. Just come here and try and perform. Let's see how it goes.
Just do the work.
Just do the work.
All right. So Chimobi Victor is saying Tega going around the stadium is a usual routine. I wasn't surprised that this new sports minister has followed suit. Please, they should just privatize this stadium instead of wasting our hard-earned money. All right, let's move on from football stadiums and F1 to tennis. So Lava Cup starts. Shapovalov, Eisner ready to shock Federer, Nadal, and Team Europe. So Team World is 0-2 against Team Europe in Lava Cup competitions, but John Eisner and Denis Shapovalov are hardly ready to cave before the third edition of the team event starts on Friday. That's today in Geneva. Now, what they said is that we're going up against the best players in the world, and they've got a super strong team. It's definitely going to be a tough challenge for us, but I really think if we all work hard together, if we all get to play our best tennis, we have a chance to win. Love it. This is from Shapovalov.
Unfortunately, Team World looks like they are going to lose again. I mean, look, the way the competition is arranged, as opposed to being as obviously a wide loss margin like it should be, but that's the way the tournament is organized. However, you look at the Team Europe has world number 2, Team Europe has world number 3. In fact, how many there are maybe 3 or 4 top 10 players in Team Europe.
Yeah.
Do you know the highest ranked player in Team World is number 20 in the world?
Oh wow.
So I understand that John Isner at some point in his career and Nick Kyrgios at one point in his career have had all these big name scalps. But now we're talking of a consistently good crop of players coming up. Sorry, they're not just consistently good because they're talented. They're also intense. So people like Nadal, people like Sasha Zverev, people like Tsitsipas,
Yeah.
they don't want to know if they are playing friendly. They don't want to know if we're all friends before we came here, if we're all laughing and skipping through the medals. They don't care about that. Once they get on court, ready to play, the intensity is different. But what Team World does that makes the Lava Cup a bit entertaining is what they do. So you look on the Team Europe side, and everybody's so stoic and serious, like they're ficus in class.
Yeah.
Then you look at the Team World, they're all making noise and high-fiving and celebrating every point, which is not a lot of points, but they're the life of the party on that side. And then these people are the ones that came to read book and to pass exam. So I think that's what makes it interesting. But I can't wait for Lava Cup to come in. It's the way it has taken over tennis is so amazing. And yes, you could say that maybe because of the person that started it,
Yeah.
but no, there is it catches fire. Like people plan the Lava Cup now. Oh, when are the dates? Okay, so we're going to go for this. The same way they used to plan ATP tournaments. Amazing. I can't wait. First question I'm asking Roger Federer: when are the women joining? You know my honor.
Well, we are up for this. So but with the women's Lava Cup, are they going to, if they did Team Europe and Team World, who would you think would?
No, but they would have to. It's still the same thing. The Team World will be Team World, and
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But it would change though, because we have the likes of Serena would be World, wouldn't she?
Yeah.
And then so we have better teams.
Yeah,
in
so
world.
it'll be
more balanced.
There'll be a little bit of a balance, a little bit, because even if you think about it, who are the rest of the world?
Yeah.
So
That's Serena. We have Venus.
you have Serena, you have Venus. Okay, after the
What's that
Williams
young
sisters,
girl that the
Coco Gauff.
Coco Gauff. Yeah.
Yes, but you go to the Europe side, you have Simona Halep, you have Pliskova. There's just so there will be it will help it balance a little bit, but there'll be some kind of balance. It'll be interesting to see. They should just bring it in and just make it more exciting.
Let's see that happen.
Awesome. Keep those messages coming as we take them one after the other. From YouTube, we have Quadri who sent in the song Tega's drink this morning.
Yes.
Was waiting for whom or what sports team should lash off. The minister got the first blow.
And it was basketballs or baseball.
Now, after 3 consecutive last 16 eliminations in the Champions League, Paris Saint-Germain were taking their impressive 3-0 victory over Real Madrid on Wednesday with a large pinch of salt. In Thomas Tuchel's words, when he addressed the news conference after the game, he said, "Before anyone asks the question, if someone asks me if we're going to win the Champions League, I'm out of here."
Vex.
Maybe the pressure was not too high on the players because those 3 were missing, he said. And then without them, that's what he continues to say, without them, we're not the favorites. And it's freed the minds of those who were on the pitch tonight. They did not feel the pressure.
Okay, like I said, on what's the day? Friday. Okay, I've lost track of time. Like I said, on Wednesday, I wasn't going to watch that match because there were too many absentees. But that was the game, at least for first half. That was the game to see, because it was as if the big names were not there. So the other guy said, you know what, it's still PSG. We're going to come out and bust this thing. And they came out and they played their hearts out, which is sad for Zinedine Zidane because he's in a terrible place. I heard somebody threw this question that, so is it that Zinedine Zidane can't win without Cristiano Ronaldo? And it's not the totality of the story. Sometimes a manager comes to a team and the team is just well balanced, well structured. They have a lethal striker, they have a performing midfield, they have good defense, and the manager is right. And everything will flow. Now, taking 1 or 2 important players from that team can turn it on its head. Doesn't mean that the manager is not good, because there are some other managers that you bring into that team and they will struggle. But that you brought in that particular manager and he won with it. So it's not a question of, it's a it's not even a chicken and egg situation.
Mhm.
It's more it's balance. It's finding the right balance.
Mhm.
It's a marriage. There's no perfect person. They're just perfect matches. That's exactly what a team and a manager is. So sometimes they're perfect matches. And so it clicks and it works out for them. But Zinedine Zidane right now is in a bad place. He's not a perfect match to the team. The team is not a perfect match for any coach because it's very lopsided. Unfortunately for them, they met a PSG 3-0 in Paris. Unfortunately for Thomas Tuchel, he's going to continue to answer these questions because they've spent so much money and they're not competing where they want to compete in the Champions League. So it's making people question the Ligue 1 that, I mean, this is a team that consistently wins the Ligue 1. Maybe the Ligue 1 is a farmers league. Maybe it's a league of amateurs because your best team comes to Europe and cannot go past the round of 16. So people are going to keep asking him that question. So he should get ready to start walking out of press conferences because that's the first question we're going to ask you. Oga, is this the year you win it? Get used to
All
it.
right, so get used to walking out of conferences. Advice from Tega to a man at PSG.
PSG.
You know there are different types of conferences. The ones you're paid for and the ones you're not. So manage your expectations. Walking out.
No, either one, you'll be fine.
He'll be fine.
Oh yes, he can walk
All
on
right.
water.
Okay,
What's
so
wrong with it?
let's go on a break because we're paid for this, so we're not fine. We need to go break so that we can get fully paid for the locker room 981.
Oh, it has
So
to-
it's part of the drama.
yeah, it's part of the job. Why do you think people after they lose they come and give press conference? Do you think they want to talk to anybody at that
Because
time?
I didn't know that. So you're paid to give it.
The buzz of
No,
Valentine.
you're not paid to give this press conference, but you must give a press conference or you'll be fined. Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes.
No wonder.
When you
Honestly, who was it I was speaking to? Okay, I think I was watching with my husband. I was saying that football shows me the extent of a man's self-control. Because you see them on the pitch when one guy shoves them and they shove, but they will never lift a fist to hit the guy.
Yes.
And I know that if they could, they would kill the man.
I'm telling you.
Because it's one of the most emotive sports.
Yeah.
On the pitch, someone now maybe insult your mother or something,
I'm telling
and you
you.
self-control.
Oh yeah, except it's Zizou. Zizou is the only one. He will headbutt you.
Zizou.
From now, yeah. Nah, it's not
See how that
negotiable.
guy's leg. I still remember how the guy's leg flew off the ground.
I was just watching them
So-
this last time.
not
Two
even
guys, you know,
close.
the Arsenal match
Yeah.
where who was it that came on and hit the leg and someone else now came to carry his matter on
Yeah.
his head and they gave him a yellow card. And I was looking at it, the way they all do it, just like you know, you can see the
They are
suppressed
holding
anger.
the
So guys can hold.
Yes.
Football is powerful, and so now looking at this one, I
Yeah,
have to,
you
okay,
have to
imagine
give a press
a man,
conference.
a man who is married and your wife will be like, when I'm angry, don't talk to me. So when money is when it's involved, when football is involved, they'll just, so I think you
When I'm angry, they say when I'm angry, I don't like to talk to anybody. Say lie. You will go for the press conference, or you will pay the money.
It's so amazing.
Why do you think? Because think about it, people are finished losing such
Yeah,
give press. Are you
actually,
high?
yeah.
When I just want to be going home.
Oh my goodness!
They make it
and you have to
compulsory.
find something to say.
You have to answer the question.
Yeah.
Sometimes you answer it to the best of your ability. Sometimes you just you yap them and go.
Yeah.
But answer it. They must write script about you, Sha.
Oh man, it's such an interesting game, and it's
Yeah.
because of the money involved as well. So much money.
And you know how they say all this nonsense about sports gives you discipline.
Yeah,
You're a role model.
yeah.
Some people don't walk away for that. Anyway, that's why I don't play.
That you cannot.
They come and meet me in the morning and say, good morning. But I say, what, why people greeting
It's
me?
a lie.
What's
The
happening
money
here?
is right. Oh, you will agree.
I would have only said that.
You be angry. You'll be like, okay, let's say.
But they will know now.
Yeah.
This
No,
thing,
no. Okay, so we have one more.
I will never forget. So I just assume that because footballers they wake up very early for training.
Yeah.
So I called Victor Ekuba one day. Victor Ekuba said, Tega, after football, I know they see sunrise. So I said, "Wait till them." I kid you not. I don't care how much you pay Victor Ekuba, he's not waking up early in the morning. For any reason. Tomorrow.
Except for football.
Even for football. He doesn't wake up early in the morning. He's like, wait, that was the worst thing of his footballing life. I said,
my.
Sapele boy, wake up early in the morning. Till tomorrow. Can't make him wake up.
So we're coming back now. Should we take some? We have some. Let's say comments so they don't become a backlog. Mic's up. Studio is live. Yes, indeed. It's smooth 98.1. Locker room 981 here. I'm Ayo Mairesi.
I am Valentine Ohu. Good morning.
And the chuckle you hear in the background belongs
It's
to none
Tega's.
other than Tega Supreme. All right, so we have comments. Ayo from Traffic says, never rated Sebastian Vettel. He was lucky in Red Bull because he had the best car. He's so done.
How do you
Hashtag
do
Team
this,
Hamilton.
Hi.
You're here and in traffic at the same time. Ayo comes back. Wow, okay. She sends another message. Or he actually says, our sweetheart, Naomi Nko.
So when we're talking about Team Europe and Team for the female
Mm.
sports,
And Team World,
And Team
yes,
World,
all them
yeah.
now means, yeah, but
Mm.
Europe still has, I mean, like I said, it's team.
yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
So Europe still
It's
has.
individual.
So Cruz says, hi guys, I think some junior staff in our sports ministry are responsible for recycling the reports each minister reads out. We need to start seeing it as business if we're to make significant headway before we even talk about privatization. Team World behave like NBA players and hip-hop stars, 24/7 entertainment. Champions League results so far have been wow. Barcelona, Barcelona. All right, let's talk about Chelsea. So Chelsea handed double injury boost ahead of Liverpool clash. Chelsea boss Frank Lampard has been handed a double boost ahead of Sunday's Premier League clash against Liverpool. Lampard, who has endured a mixed start to life as Blues boss, is sweating on the fitness of a number of players ahead of the big match. Lampard has been given a boost after Kante and Palmieri were both back in training on Thursday. Now, if the pair are past fit to play on Sunday, then Kante is likely to partner Eugenio in midfield, while Palmera should replace Marcos Alonso at left back.
Okay, so any good news for Frank Lampard now? Any news now is good news, as it is. But what it is that he struggled. I start from Chelsea Valencia. He struggled first of all to get players into the team because of the ban that was placed on them. Maybe he would be one of those players that would have made a perfect match if he could get the players that he needs. But he has those injuries. He has a very young squad, and sometimes their inexperience shows when it comes to big games, especially also with their lack of leadership. But if you have a player like N'Golo Kante in the midfield, even if he doesn't talk much, have I heard him speak at all? Even if he doesn't talk, his performances has commanded some kind of respect from other people around him. So they tend to take their cue from what he does. They would align once he's on the pitch. So he needs that kind of player right now. And he'd be very excited, especially against a team like Liverpool. You know, you got the baptism against Valencia. It was 1-0, but it was still a loss. And it was your first game in the Champions League. Then you come back home to play. You come back to play a Liverpool team whose front three score goals for fun. It's such a struggle if you don't have enough players, if you don't have enough options, you're fretting if you're Frank Lampard. And I think that's where he is right now, fretting. How do we contain Liverpool? What style do we approach Liverpool with? Because so far he's been playing expansive football. But you can't play that kind of expansive football when you have a Liverpool front three. So there's a lot he needs to work out. It's already a tough match playing Liverpool at this time. Especially as Liverpool also lost to Napoli, so they want to bounce back immediately. So it will be a tough time playing Liverpool at this time. But to have the amount of injuries he now has to add to the problem, so please, right now, I'm sure Lampard's grandmother will be praying. Kante, you'll be all right in the name of the Lord. I think that's what he wants, because otherwise it doesn't even look like he's going to get 3 points right now. The question is damage control. How bad should the loss be?
Mason Greenwood is in the news. He's proved it was the right decision to let Romelu Lukaku leave Old Trafford, according to Manchester United manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. For me, in his words, Solskjaer told a news conference, "For me, it was the right decision for the club. He's going to be important for us this season. He's not played a lot so far, but he will get minutes. It's good for the young players to have the opportunity to play these games. They have to use that to work hard to get more chances."
Okay, this is another joker. You have got to be kidding me. Okay, so Greenwood scored 1 goal yesterday against Astana, and all of a sudden, that was it vindicates you from selling Romelu Lukaku and Sanchez. Are you really kidding me right now? But I guess he'll say anything because when you win, you're on a high. I don't know what high, but you're on a high. I want whatever it is that he's having, and that's where it is. You have this 17-year-old come on the pitch and play against Astana. Astana, score one lonely goal. That's how you won the match. Then you're now bragging that he's better than, because that's what you're saying in essence, that him coming to score has proven that you didn't need Romelu Lukaku. Are you kidding me? Let's wait to see how many goals he will give you in all this. Even in this Europa League that you're bragging about, you don't say things like this. You say yes. You can say yes. You gave younger players opportunities. This is kind of competition because everybody did it. Arsenal did it. Arsenal had one. What's his name now? One Yoruba boy now. Hey, something Saka. Score. He created a goal and then he scored the goal. I don't hear Emery saying, you see, it was good that Lacazette was injured so that this Saka boy. Do you understand?
Yeah,
you don't say ridiculous things like that. You can say, oh, this is a competition I'm using to give young players opportunities, but don't rubbish one player to exalt the other, especially. Yeah, you've now mounted pressure on this Greenwood. So every time they put him on the pitch, now he must score at least one goal.
Bukayo Saka.
So,
Bukayo Saka.
thank you. So you can't do that to first of all to the player. You can't even do that as a manager. But he's made this bragging right now. He'll be held accountable when West Ham come calling on Sunday. He must bring Greenwood to score goal. Because if Greenwood doesn't score goal, there'll be problem. Greenwood must score from now till the end of the season so that your vindication will be complete. You understand? You can't just be vindicated with one match.
Okay, so there was problem at Tottenham Hotspur when they threw away a 2-0 lead in two of their last three matches. So Tottenham Hotspur must improve on maintaining in-game leads and managing the game better. Manager Mauricio Pochettino said yesterday, we need to improve in all the aspects. Pochettino told reporters ahead of Saturday's trip to Leicester City, we need to improve in this type of situation, leading 2-0 against Arsenal, leading 2-0 against Olympiacos. I think we're not talking about quality, we're talking about in this type of situation, managing the game better and dealing better with the type of situation. Oh, okay, so they've been doing really well.
But that's part of your job description now, okay? It's not only the players on the pitch that manage, you self you manage, especially as you came into the game and you scored against the run of play. Yeah. So even the Arsenal-Tottenham game, most in general, Arsenal was doing the playing, Tottenham was doing the scoring. And sometimes you can say you know a good team when they can win if in spite of having a bad day. But if you notice that your team wasn't really dominating play or enjoying the passage of play that they usually have, but they still manage to go up, you from the bench can still manage the team and say, okay, we've managed to get these goals, this is how we're going to set up, this is the structure we're going to take, this is what we're going to do. So part of the problem is also him, and the rest of it of course comes to the team, because the minute they came out, Olympiacos came out for second half, the momentum switched to Olympiacos, and you should prepare knowing that you're playing at Olympiacos, you have a 2-goal advantage. You have scored 2 goals because Olympiacos did score 1 goal at the end of first half. And you know that this team is going to come out differently and try to win. So you should also prepare for that intensity as it's coming up, as a coach and as a player. And so he can come into the press conference and be yelling at his players, but he's also part of the problem. So I hope he looked in the mirror and yelled at himself too, because he failed to manage the game well. But what it is that Tottenham has showed their hand one time too many that they can flatter to deceive. And those results are proof that they haven't really changed much from last season. So let's see how it goes.
All right, we have messages to go through. George from Aja says, good morning, guys. It's not Thomas Tuchel or PSG. Real Madrid have lost the spark. Let Hazard come back a bit. Because Barkley will even allow him play penalty. Thank you. Fred Polo says, you guys should talk about Arsenal now. Habba. Valencia defeated Chelsea and Napoli beat Liverpool, and it's no news. But Arsenal knocked out both teams last season, right? By beating them home and away. Up Gunners, he says.
This is a new
season. Talked about them.
Yeah, you've talked about it.
So Larry says, my own Tega is stadia plural and not stadiums. Don't give us a so She said stadia actually. So Frank Lampard does not seem to be able to handle the size and status of Chelsea. Although I'm a Chelsea fan also, I still strongly believe Frank should have first tested his managerial skills in a lower club such as a Division 2 club in Italy before greedily and presumptuously accepting to manage Chelsea with the known crazy ego of the Russian.
And final stories or messages before we go. Ayo says, I beg. Let's talk about academic graduates in Arsenal. Okay. And Emeka from Amor says, Courtois has conceded 79 goals in 57 matches and Zidane replaced Navas for this. That one alone is a sackable offense. To save face, I think Zidane should resign to save whatever legacy he's left.
Everyone calling for resign here, resign there.
No. Some people should resign. Some people should be fired. Like Valverde, fire.
You always
Sack
said that.
Valverde.
We gotta go.
All right, yes.
And
we
they
have
sack
to go.
Lanre for not searching his Oxford dictionary before he came here.
Why?
Don't try me again.
Don't try
That's super
Tega.
English.
All right.
And I'm not
Tega.
Isoko, I'm Urobo.
Tega-
So you
Tega
said
is
you
at-
failed twice.
Tega is
Who
at
took our drink?
Tega is at Tega Supreme on Twitter and get English lessons there. And then for her work with the ladies in sports, please follow LIS International. Fantastic job, the work she's doing there. Of course, we're here, Valentine and myself, and it's a Feel Good Friday. So today, something interesting coming up on Lagos Talks 981.
Yeah.
Rugby.
I say,
You have the nerve.
I can always imagine the person say, sorry.
No, but this is